The Emperor's view on the modern world. You carry a device in your pocket that grants you the knowledge of the gods, yet you use it only to seek the fleeting approval of strangers, which is as hollow as the wind. The climate changes and the earth trembles, but why do you fear? The natural movement of the universe. When the only thing that can truly harm you is the corruption of your own character. You call it cancel culture, but I call it a mob of people who have forgotten that to be harmed by an insult you must first choose to accept it as a harm. Wealth is a preferred indifferent, but you have turned the pursuit of plastic and digital numbers into a religion that leaves your soul starved for virtue. Your politics is a theater of ego where men shout about justice to hide their own lack of self-control, for a true leader seeks to be a servant and not a celebrity. The artificial intelligences you build are mirrors of your own logic, and if you do not teach them the common good, they will only reflect your own confusion back at you. You obsess over your physical health and the longevity of your body, while allowing your mind to become a wasteland of distractions and petty grievances. I see you fighting over borders and identities, but from the height of the stars, the earth is a tiny point, and all humanity are fellow citizens of the same city. Do not complain that you are busy, for a man who knows his purpose finds peace in his work, and a man who has no purpose is busy even when he is doing nothing. Death remains the great equalizer, and whether you are a king or a beggar, the dirt will claim you the same. So live this moment as if it were your last, for it very well may be. The shadow of the Danube. Imagine a cold, damp tent on the edge of the known world. Outside, the Germanic tribes are howling for Roman blood. Inside, the most powerful man on earth sits by a flickering candle. He isn't reviewing battle maps or counting gold. He is writing to himself. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. This was Marcus Aurelius. He was a man who inherited an empire, but sought only to conquer his own mind. While other emperors built monuments to their vanity, Marcus built a fortress within his soul. Today, we peel back the purple robes of the Caesar to find the human being who lived a life of duty, tragedy, and radical honesty.
Vericimus, the most honest child. Marcus wasn't born to be emperor. He was born Marcus Annius Verus, a boy from an aristocratic family with Spanish roots. But even as a child, he was different. The Emperor Hadrian, a man known for his cynicism, nicknamed the boy Vericimus, meaning the most truthful. While other noble children played at politics and greed, Marcus was obsessed with the truth. At age 12, he took his first major step into the life of the mind. He began dressing in the rough cloak of a philosopher and insisted on sleeping on the hard floor, much to his mother's dismay. This wasn't a phase. It was the birth of a soul that valued character over comfort. His childhood wasn't one of pampered luxury, but of rigorous self-discipline that caught the eye of the highest powers in Rome.
The weight of the crown. The transition from philosopher student to heir of the empire was not a choice Marcus made, but a duty he accepted. When Hadrian chose Antoninus Pius as his successor, it was on one condition: Antoninus must adopt the young Marcus. Suddenly, the quiet scholar was thrust into the heart of the imperial court. He was educated by the finest minds of the age, including the famous orator Fronto. But Marcus found the flowery language of politics empty. He turned instead to Junius Rusticus, who introduced him to the works of Epictetus, a former slave turned Stoic teacher. This irony defined Marcus, a man at the top of the world learning how to live from a man at the bottom. He spent 20 years as a loyal apprentice to his adoptive father, waiting in the wings, suppressing his own desires for a quiet life in favor of the Roman state.
A reign of fire and plague. In 161 AD, Marcus became emperor, and the universe seemed to test him immediately. This was not the Pax Romana of legends. It was an era of catastrophe. The Parthians invaded from the east, and just as that war ended, a devastating plague, the Antonine Plague, swept through the empire, killing millions. Bodies were piled in the streets of Rome. Marcus didn't hide in a palace. He stayed, he led, and he even sold off imperial treasures and his wife's jewelry to fund the state and help the poor. Then came the Marcomannic Wars. For the majority of his reign, Marcus lived in military camps on the Danube frontier. It was here, amidst the smell of blood and the sound of iron on iron, that he wrote his Meditations. He wasn't writing for us. He was writing to keep himself sane in a world that was falling apart.
The betrayal and the mercy. The greatest pain, however, didn't come from the plague or the Germans. It came from his own friends. His most trusted general, Avidius Cassius, declared himself emperor after a false rumor spread that Marcus had died. Marcus didn't react with rage. He wept, not for his lost power, but for the loss of a friend. He told his soldiers that he hoped to capture Cassius alive so he could forgive him. When a lone assassin killed Cassius and brought his head to Marcus, the emperor refused to look at it and ordered it buried. He then traveled to the rebellious provinces, not to execute the conspirators, but to show them mercy and restore peace. This event highlighted his greatest obsession, the idea that the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury.
The legacy of the inner citadel. Marcus Aurelius died in 180 AD, likely of the same plague he had fought so hard to contain. His death marked the end of the 5 good emperors and the beginning of Rome's long decline. But while the empire fell, his spirit survived. His private diary, never intended for publication, became one of the most read books in human history. It reveals a man who struggled with anger, with waking up in the morning, and with the stupidity of others. Yet he overcame it all through Stoicism. He reminds us that we cannot control what happens to us, only how we respond. Marcus Aurelius was a man who had everything: wealth, power, fame, and realized that none of it mattered as much as the quality of his thoughts. He remains the ultimate example of the leader who serves a cause greater than himself.